Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now October 14th of 2023, and given that Disney is in a real delicate position right now between everything happening with the Marvels and how they are anticipating that to be one of the biggest box office failures within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, at this point in time, the movie Wish is really their only saving grace for the theaters for the remainder of this year. But regardless, everything happening with the Snow White live-action remake, there are endless pieces of drama that are ever evolving behind closed doors, many of which have a lot to do with actress Rachel Zegler, and yes, even Gal Gadot. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one major aspect about everything happening with the Snow White drama is that we know that Rachel Zegler is a big player in all of this. It has a lot to do with the fact that she is taking action against Disney after she was let go and fired from multiple Disney roles. She's already preparing a big statement with her entire team. But her actual attitude toward actress Gal Gadot, this is where things really begin to unravel and really begin to actually give you a vivid view of what's going on with the cast members of Snow White and why there's been such tension on the set of this film as well during post-production. Let's discuss, shall we? Now, specifically, on top of all of this, we know that director Marc Webb has been saying the dumbest things of all about this film, right? Saying things about how, like, movies are not meant for fans, they're only meant for creators, stuff like that. Really kind of going to the extreme to really defend this film to the max, right? However, with that being said, with Disney caught up in the endless drama surrounding Snow White 24, one major development has to do with Rachel Zegler and the Snow White fiasco, where it stands right now. As it turns out, Rachel Zegler is having ongoing issues with her co-star Gal Gadot behind the scenes for two major reasons. In a shocking turn of events, Gal Gadot convinced director Marc Webb to have Disney approved to remove and delete several key scenes that actually involved Rachel Zegler that Gal acted in with her on the set that was filmed and part of the cut of Snow White. Now, Gal got Marc Webb to reason with Disney to delete around 6 important scenes that, of course, are now being replaced with extra footage that was shot back in June of 2022, roughly 1 month before filming was wrapped. This development involves the fact that Gal convinced Webb to delete what was considered Rachel Zegler's best scene in the entire film, in which both Gal and Zegler are singing alongside each other in the second act of the film. The concept by Greta Gerwig, the writer, was to have the evil queen to create a fake friendship with Snow White as presented as the old hag, aka the witch in her transformed state, where they both sing together. Now, let me just say one thing about this before I get to the next big thing about this development, is that this just goes to show you that Marc Webb will pretty much do whatever he has to do to make things right with this movie and to dial down some level of the backlash. We know that Gal and Marc are closer than Rachel and Marc are because they have had creative differences on the set. We know that Marc admitted about this, that he has had his own problems with Rachel Zegler, but he's at peace with a lot of that in some elements right now. We know that Gal is extremely worried about the reputation that is going to get tarnished, and that has a lot to do with her career, herself as an actress, her image, stuff like that. And I think that a large chunk of that for her was already destroyed when she really encouraged and defended Rachel Zegler, where she literally hopped in, she kind of leaned in toward the camera and said she's not going to be saved by the prince. I don't think that she was doing that because she was forced in the position. She could have easily said nothing, guys. Easily. She didn't have to say anything there. It wouldn't have done a thing if she just remained very quiet. It wouldn't have actually offended anybody at all. So she really encouraged Rachel Zegler's comments. She, in fact, threw gas into the fire and really created an engulfed failure at this point. Now, what's interesting about this, too, is that we know that Gal Gadot and Marc Webb, they've really been caught up in really, kind of convincing Disney, what to do with this movie, different elements of this movie, what should really remain, what should get deleted. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like a cringe scene. The fact that they even had this in the current cut, where you have both Snow White and the old hag singing alongside each other, is quite cringeworthy. I can only imagine what that would look like on the big screen. I can only imagine that right now in my mind, and it doesn't look good. We know that the test screening for this film has been an ever-evolving failure as well, one after the other. However, let's continue. We're not done yet. Oh, we're not done yet. Now, this scene reportedly didn't do well in the test screening. However, Zegler felt it was her best singing session recorded for the film that has now been removed, creating endless drama behind closed doors. The other main reason why Rachel Zegler holds a big grudge with Gal Gadot is that she willingly is walking away from doing many press interviews with Rachel Zegler, as she wants nothing to do with her after the viral comments that were made that are already damaging Gal's career as an actress. Rachel reportedly is extremely offended over Gal's separation, especially from not getting involved with her at the world premiere before Rachel was excluded from that by Disney. This new series of drama has only been creating more tensions for Disney behind the scenes, and it's only continuing to get worse as it is. As of now, Zegler has not been taking this well, and as a part of why, she is developing her massive statement with her team, including her agent and manager, that will be released to the public after the SAG strike ends. So, for those of you that have not been following, she is going to release a very large statement about the unfairness within Hollywood, some of the cast members, Disney, stuff like that, about her role as Snow White and the ramifications about her viral comments. We know that she's also trying to combat against Disney to giving her the freedom to have freedom of speech when she is doing the press interviews for Snow White 2024. And look, all I could say is this: freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences. She can't just go off saying whatever she wants to say. She's got to remember that it's a business, and you are presenting yourself as the face of that business. And she's got to remember that there are rules intact to promoting a film. This is common knowledge in the film industry. You can't just go off saying whatever you want to say. You have an outline. You are coached on what you are allowed to talk about and what you're not allowed to talk about, right? So, Rachel Zegler, well over a year ago, those interviews, by the way, were resurfaced interviews months ago that went viral. She really went off the rail. She really went to the point where she was dissing Snow White 1937, to the point where she was also dissing her co-star Andrew Burnap. And we know that they actually had some light issues on the set behind the scenes, which most likely equates to why she was talking the way she did about Andrew Burnap in that interview. And there's a lot more to talk about that, by the way. We'll be talking more about that in the coming week or two as we garner more details about all of that. But what's interesting about this, guys, is that Rachel Zegler is just relentless with her grudges against people. But anyway, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.
From night to moon we hear them moans again.